In a situation like this, is positive attitude and outlook important to kind of boost the spirits to keep everybody up?
Yeah, it's sure to stay positive, man. We're the storm, period. We're the storm. As bad as it looks, it's not really bad too. Of course, we got a 7-game escape, but we got a. Oh my gosh! What's up, Jenny? But in the midst of what we're doing now, can stay the course, weather the storm, and then try to get back in the winning column. We're still in the mix. We're not like, we're down. We're out of the mix. We're right in the mix. Just gonna stay locked in, do all the little stuff, compete, play together, and just be there for each other, every play, and offense and defense first.
At least the Bucks game and also the Suns game, you were very close. If there's one thing that maybe just needed to improve, what would it be?
Just personnel and just doing your job, and everybody got to do their job, and that's my coach always preach. Our superpowers being together, being more together as a group. Our point guard keeps that, with the way he plays. But I think TJ's doing a great job. Drew's doing a good job. But just being more together and helping each other's back, no matter what's going on.
What makes you optimistic that you guys can right this ship?
I mean, we're NBA players, we all put our shoes on just as any other team, Come out there, compete, have fun, and do all the right things, and the game will reward you.
How much do you think having TJ, along with Aaron, along with the rest of you guys, do you think that made you guys a better defensive unit on Saturday? Basically, do you think that kept you guys better sort of connected on that end? How much do you think that helped?
Yeah, it doesn't matter you get 23, huh? Okay, well fix the other arm. Maybe get 25. Sorry, I was talking shit. But TJ's doing great, and I think his savviness, the way his energy he brings, his relentless attitude, energy, offense and defense, pushing the pace, is great. So, what he's doing and setting the tone those past couple games has been great. So, just turn it over come tomorrow and let's get back and win the competition.
You guys were in last night's game late. Do you feel like you found some solutions or some things you could align a little more in some future games?
Sure. I think that we got a little something going on. We just got to figure it out. Everything's not going to be perfect. Every game's not perfect, but just got to feed off that and be ready for tomorrow.
What was the biggest positive you saw yesterday or last game?
We did a lot of good things defensively. Offensively, we had 3. I cut out the turnovers. I had 4. Maybe we turn the ball and give another team run out, so we got to cut that turnover way down. That's not us.
Tyrese just told you then he had 23 out of 25. Does that give you at least some optimism that in the short term he will be back soon?
I hope so. You say he had one arm. It's not about the strength of the arm. It's not about like the left arm he can shoot with it. I think that it's just putting on that strength into the floor, pounding the ball. That's the difficulty. He has no problem shooting the ball. But tell him to get 25 or 25. I did that a couple of times already. That's why.
What did you hope to accomplish going into the starting lineup? Was it anything different than what you try to do when you're coming off the bench?
No, honestly, try to be myself and get my teammates involved, shoot when I'm open, and be a pest on defense. Not pick up as much full court because I'm probably going to be playing a little bit more minutes, but still playing hard in that end and trying to give 1/3 of what Tyrese would do to this unit, but just try to remain myself.
I think Rick made the comment after the game that he thought about starting you Friday, but it was a back-to-back, and he didn't want to wear you out. How did you feel after the weekend?
Not bad. I mean, I was sore, but appreciate Rick trying to look out for the old guy. Just like I said, just trying to keep my body right and help this team any way I can.
What's been the biggest difference, I guess, about your game that you've been able to put up so many points?
I think it's just confidence, really, and that's the coaching staff and my teammates just instilling that in me and putting me in the right positions and just going out and making a play. So, all credit to them.
How has getting extra minutes helped with that confidence?
I mean, I think this is for anyone, when you get extended minutes, you get to play through mistakes, and that really helps you. And I credit Coach for letting me play through those and gaining that confidence.
What's been your number one goal in kind of taking the place of Tyrese here?
I know that I'm not going to be who Tyrese is. He's an all-star caliber point guard, and as you see, we miss him dearly. Like I said, just kind of trying to be myself and pushing the pace on offense and getting people involved, shooting when I'm open, and being a pest on defense.
I should have this a little bit on Saturday, but how important is it for this group to defend well? I mean, obviously it's important to do it the whole way, but I mean, having you 4 guys out, you with Andrew, with Aaron, how helpful can that be when it just sort of keeps the opponent from getting out with an early offensive run?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key. Like you said, establishing an identity early on in the game defensively, that carries over throughout the entire game. You can't just turn on a switch and say, we're ready to defend now in the third quarter. It's already too late. So we have to be better about establishing that identity early on, and we have a group that plays hard. There's no issue with that. We just got to be, a little bit more connected and defending, pick and rolls and guys cutting and keeping guys off the free throw line.
What's been the biggest piece that's been positive that gives you optimism that you can right this ship?
Yeah, I mean, we're there in most games. It's come down to a few possessions, and we play incredibly hard. So I mean, you have to let the chips fall where they're at. We've had a couple guys out, and we've thrown out different lineups, and that's no excuse. Everyone has to be ready, and they have been, and play incredibly hard. So that's been a positive.
Did you get the sense that you guys figured anything out or something out on Saturday with the new lineups and the way you guys played in that game?
Honestly, I think everyone knows we can play that way. It's just about establishing it early on both ends, and it was definitely a positive. But I'm not a big moral victory guy. We still ended up losing. We have to come together and find a way to streak some wins together.
Rick talks a lot about spirit, and I know nobody likes losing, but what have you noticed about the mentality of this team through this 7-game stretch?
Yeah, we just have a good group. No one's hanging their head. No one feeling sorry for themselves. We're coming in here, getting work every day, and trying to get better. And that's all you can ask for a group.
What do you want to see out of this team tomorrow?
I want to see a win, obviously. But if we can play like we did against Phoenix, and be a little bit better and more disciplined defensively, I like our chances.
DJ, there's been issues defensively and offensively on that road trip. You just mentioned defense. Is that what you want to see upgraded first and then let the offense come as usual?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once we establish our identity defensively, the offense takes care of itself. We can get what we want on offense, but we're so dangerous when we get stops and get out on the open floor. So, we have the capabilities that we've shown to be a great defensive team. We just got to kind of put it together.
In the starting lineup, what's kind of the number one thing you try to do with that group? Is it the energy? Is it distributing the ball, getting guys going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little of all three that you said. I sound like a broken record, but just trying to be myself. Establish a pace and get guys going. By getting them open shots, and on the defensive end, pressure. And my teammates see me pressure, and they're going to do the same. And that's when we establish that identity.
The rib or whatever it was.
It was like a quick stinger. It was there, and then it went away.
Tyrese has done such a good job all year in getting buddy looks. With you in the starting lineup, it felt like he got a little more. Was that something you were making a concerted effort for?
For sure. I mean, this guy's an unbelievable shooter, and gets us going in so many ways. Guys overhelp, and he's able to drive to the basket and kick, and then that's when we get the ball moving. So anytime we can get Buddy going or get him a quick look, I'm trying to do that.
When you played the Bulls last time, I think it was Miles' first game of the year. He was injured. He was trying to get his feet. How consistent and impressive has he been start to finish this season?
He's been unbelievable. He's the best shot blocker in the league, year in and year out. But he's been our 5-man, a solidified 5-man throughout the year. And him getting the ball in the post and rolling has been really fun to watch, because we all know we can do, picking and popping. Him rolling and having that solidified role, he's been unbelievable.
What do you think having you and Andrew and Aaron together on a defensive line, what do you think that does in terms of how you guys can match up in terms of lineups that you can guard?
I mean, I feel like we all get after it defensively, and we can switch 1 through 3 and pick people up full court and speed them up. I think us three do a great job of that.
What do you tell Andrew right now is beyond being sick and trying to get back into things, but you've handled well, taking on more responsibility, but it's another new challenge he's facing in his rookie season.
Yeah, I mean, he's been truly unbelievable this year. It's been a joy to watch, but I kind of just try to tell him just to be yourself. That's what's got you here, and kind of just being okay with ourselves that we know we're not Tyrese, and we know that he's not going to be back for a little bit, and just to play your game, because it's good enough, and he's shown how valuable he is to this team.
Coach, I know you talked about turnovers being an issue on that road trip. What have you worked on in practice to improve that?
Well,
going into the Phoenix game, which was the last game on the trip, we looked at some film on it. We did better in the Phoenix game. We spent some time in practice today on ball security and spacing, and those things generally should help your turnover count. So we'll stay the course.
What gives you optimism you can right this ship quickly, maybe even tomorrow in Chicago?
Well, our one possession game in Phoenix is a game where we played much better. I mean, the first and last games on the trip at Milwaukee, at Phoenix, were pretty good from an effort standpoint. It's a few decisions here and there. We got to clean those things up, and we got to keep working at just understanding that our overall game is very dependent on how we function with each other. And right now, with Tyrese out, we've really got to help each other in every way, whether it's defending the ball, whether it's creating the best shot for the team, you name it. We got to be a total team.
I feel like you found some solutions in that Phoenix game with new lineups and the way you guys were able to at least be closer for much of the game.
Yeah, look, McConnell was great in that game. Drew is not in practice today. He's got a non-COVID illness, so we'll hope he's okay for tomorrow. But I don't know what's going to happen there. But this is one of the real challenges with coaching in professional sports is situations where you're down a great player and maybe down one or two others, and how do you bring it together? So tomorrow, being home is something that we got to turn into an advantage. We got to get our fans into it with hard, unselfish play. Chicago does play tonight, which is something that could help us. But we just got to be really efficient, totally as a team. We got to take care of the ball. We got to rebound well, and we got to find ways to get it in the hole.
What's impressed you the most with how TJ has come in and really carried this team over the last few games?
He's a terrific player. He's a player that any team in this league would want on their team. And I think any guy playing in this league would want to play with. He's just totally selfless. He brings unlimited energy and enthusiasm, and he just has such a will and a heart to compete. So, as we've seen in recent games, the work that he's done with his three-point shooting has bore some fruit. He made 4 in the Milwaukee game. He banked 1 in against Phoenix. So he's a guy, even though he's 30 years old, he's still developing and getting better.
Is the one thing you wanted from that starting lineup is he's really good at getting others involved, getting guys started, or is it more the energy factor because of the force to start?
It's everything. I mean, it's important when you go through a tough time to make sure you have your best competitors on the floor as much as possible, and to make sure that we're doing everything possible to create an entire roster full of great competitors. So that's where we are. We had a very good practice today, and guys were focused, enthusiastic, and we've got to bring a big effort tomorrow.
What would you like about having TJ, Aaron, and Andrew together defensively? How much do you think that helps you as far as matchups are concerned?
They're 3 of our best defenders on the perimeter. So, I mean, you get those 3, and then put Myles in the equation. That's probably 4 of our top defenders. Period. So. It just aligns with the competitiveness that is so important right now. I told the guys, 2 days ago when we had our meeting in the afternoon before the Phoenix game, 3 things: do it hard, do it together, and make it simple. Right now, those are the 3 things that are most important.
You talk a lot about spirit with this group. I know no one likes losing 7 in a row, but do you get what sense do you get about the mentality of this group pushing forward right now?
I loved our approach today. Part of what we did was identify some things from the Phoenix game that we did poorly that we can easily do better by showing examples of our transgressions and other examples of us helping each other to create great shots, create great situations during the full course of the game. So, that's where we are. Tyrese was here and he participated in parts of practice. He's getting a little better all the time. Don't have a timetable, but he actually participated in a little bit of the non-contact stuff full court, which was great to see. And any little thing that can be uplifting is important.
Are you realizing even more? Are you realizing even more of what he provided to this team, his added value now, seeing with him removed from the puzzle?
Are you really asking that question? Oh yeah.
I thought you might have identified, like, I had no idea he was as big of help in this area.
Oh, look,
because the spirit
I knew he was a great player, but having him unavailable, for 7 games, for 6 1/4 games, and losing 7 games, is pretty strong evidence how important he is to our franchise. Now, that said, we have plenty without him being available to win games, but we've got to be really tied together. We've got to be really on point with everything that we're doing, and we got to go hard.
You've mentioned that togetherness a couple times now. How important, and TJ mentioned this too, how important is it for the guys that are available to kind of stay within themselves and play their own game instead of trying to force things?
I mean, part of what we did today was kind of redefine who we are as a team, who we need to be as a team, particularly with Tyrese being out. What the approach is for our point guards, our wings, and our bigs. I mean, there's 3 different categories of players, and so hey, it's important more than any other time when you're going through a tough stretch to constantly communicate and keep the messaging simple and on point.
Saw that Kendall played last night. Looks like Daniel's doing more here. What can you say about those two in their recovery process right now?
They're both doing well, from what I understand. I have not talked to Kendall yet today. He came in while practice was going on. Daniel's doing better. He'll be available at some point soon. I'm not exactly sure. It will not be tomorrow.
TJ doesn't get a triple-double without guys like you finishing. What did you think of his overall performance on Saturday?
That was great, man. That's the TJ I'm accustomed to. Like I say it all the time, bro. TJ, when he displays confidence like that, he does a lot for this group. He's stepping up right now in our time of need, and I think he's playing great basketball.
He's been pretty clear in saying he can't beat Tyrese, but he's trying to bring some of maybe those qualities. What was the biggest thing he brought to the starting lineup?
I'd probably say just like the way how hard TJ goes. I mean, that energy is infectious, and I think it kind of just rubs off on us. If you have someone like himself who's going, that hard, 100 miles per hour, then we kind of just fall in line. And he's ahead of the snake with all that. So just the way he plays and his mentality towards it, I think something that carries bodes well with our group.
And maybe one of the biggest positives of the trip, start to finish, was his shooting.
Absolutely, he's a 50-40-90 guy right now. I'm telling him, he just gotta stay the course with it. He puts in a lot of work with his shot, and he's in there every day doing it. So got to apply it to the game, and he's been doing a great job of it.
What gives you optimism you can right this ship quickly tomorrow?
Just resiliency, man. I feel like I've been around for quite some time, and obviously it's a tough spot, but you take it one game at a time. If you start to let this build and let that negative energy in, then it can get worse. But I think we got a pretty positive group. We had a great day of practice today. It's gonna be back home, and so carry it over to the game.
How much does this team play with a chip on its shoulder after such a great start and now 7 straight losses?
You said it. I mean, it's just I think the road is tough, especially this time of year. We're in the dog days of our season. But we don't take our success for granted. We know how hard it was for us to build that, and that's about all we're trying to get back to. So I think that we just take that same mentality that we built and just try to get back to being us.
How much value was there having TJ and Andrew and Aaron together defensively? How much do you think that started you guys off on a good track defensively? How much do you think helps you match up?
I think it's a great group defensively. I think it's qualities of what they do and qualities of what they bring to this team. So I'd like to see more of it. I think that the guys really compete, and let's continue to keep using it.
I feel like you guys found some solutions in Phoenix. It was the closest game you had on that road trip during the moving streak to getting better and getting over that.
It's not just a quick fix thing. I really think it's just one game's going to present its challenges, different than the next. And I think that's how we have to approach it. We got Chicago going in tomorrow, and Chicago's a different team than Phoenix, so we got to stick to our guns and apply what needs to be applied tomorrow to that game.
Tyrese is so good at so many of the things you guys have as your identity. How hard is it to adjust without the heart of your team kind of on the fly like that?
Yeah, we're missing 20 and 10, but you got to make up those numbers somewhere, and we have a great group of guys that are able to step up, and that's all it is. We all have to kind of step up. I think guys are individually stepping up, but as a unit, we got to step up, and that's what's going to get us back on the winning side of things.
Kind of along those lines, what do you think this team's identity has to be that doesn't have Tyrese? What are the most important things you guys?
It has to be hard play, man. You can do X zones all you want to make or miss league, but I think hard play will really save you. 50-50 balls, get them to last more, and just our overall defensive effort that'll really keep you in games.
When you played Chicago, it was your first game of the year. I think you were trying to get your conditioning. What do you remember about that night, and how many steps has this team taken from the beginning of the season?
Well, for me personally, that was definitely a rough night. Just being that first game back, trying to shake a little bit of the rust off, and I think I'm in a good spot right now. So it should be a lot different. But as a team, I remember then it was a tough go at it as well. They got off to a really hot start, and we tried to adjust. We just couldn't climb back in it. But it's not gonna be the result tomorrow. So we just gotta go back out there and be patient, be the patient, man.
Where does the offense feel the most different without Tyrese setting things up, running things, getting things initiated?
I mean, he leads the league in assists, man. I think he's someone who really ties us together, and just his vision and whatnot is something that's missing. But same thing I've been saying before, man. It's not about Tyrese being out. It is what it is. Guys get injured, so it's just next man up mentality. And that's where we're at.